Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike at Filmboy24, and it's time for round number 37 of Found Film, where we take an old roll, or maybe even two old rolls of film that were shot presumably many, many years ago, run them through the old processing tank, and see if we can get images. That's right, this is the 37th published account of my Found Film series. Actually, it's actually a little more because I started a series really early on called Searching for 86, where I had 18 rolls of old Ektachrome that I went through. I went through until we actually found out who the rolls originally belonged to, and then out of respect for that person, I stopped putting them online. And I developed the rest of them and sent them all to her. Anyway, so this is the 37th time. If you're new to this and you want a very quick explanation, I get a lot of film, old Super 8 film mostly, occasionally some 16mm magazine film, the little metal mags. But I get a lot of it from different sources. Viewers send me some. In fact, I just got a roll yesterday from a subscriber. Look for that coming relatively soon. I get some sent in. I find them in old cameras, old camera cases, or if I buy an old camera and there's a roll in the camera. You know what I mean? You get them all kinds of places. You buy them in lots on eBay or flea markets, garage sales. Anyway, I get them from a lot of different sources, and I have quite a few of them. In fact, I bought 56 rolls from one batch from a guy, Cameraman Mike, on eBay. That's his screen name. And those are all sound film. This is not what we're working on today, but if you're interested in checking out the playlist from that particular batch, it's sort of a running, batch of film that we're trying to keep up with and maybe even find out who it all belonged to. I'll put a link to that playlist up here somewhere. Also, all of my Found Film, all 37 now rolls, will be in their own playlist called Found Film. So if you want to just watch all of them from start to finish, then feel free. Anyway, what we have today, it's a little bit different. Sometimes when I get a roll of found film, it's not fully exposed. And I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Exposed. Anyway, such is the case for these two rolls. Now, these came from the same place. They came from a camera store, actually, in Salem, Oregon. I got them mid-2020. So 2020, I think in June, before I even started my channel, and I think I may have actually processed a roll or two previous to starting this channel. I'll have to dig and see. They're a little different than what we usually do here on Found Film, namely because they were partially exposed. In other words, it didn't say exposed on this open side where the film is seen, which means somebody shot some of it and then, for whatever reason, set it down and never shot it again. Now, there's really no way to know how much film has been exposed. The only real test is to put the partially exposed roll into a camera and shoot something and keep an eye on the counter, and whatever you shot, in this case, both of these I ended up shooting somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 feet because that's what my counter said. So that tells us that about 25 feet on each roll was shot. Actually, I think on one roll it was more like about 20 feet was shot. So rather than do an episode per film and only show you a minute of film or a minute and 20 seconds of film, I decided to combine these two since they were from the same batch. Anyway, the second part of why this is a little unusual is this particular roll here, and I presumed that this one it was as well, says store demo. It's handwritten on it right here. I'll try to throw a photo up there so you can see, but it says store demo on it. This one didn't, but it's from the same batch. And I was a little curious what exactly they were talking about. You'll see in a minute. Well, first let me give you a tiny little bit of 80s back story. Back in the day of the 80s and 90s when you used to go to stores to buy things, remember those days? Before video, really, they would have typically a roll or two of Super 8 film at the electronics counter, and you could test out certain cameras, and you'd want to pop a roll of film in there and test out the camera. Well, that's what you did. I actually worked in some retail stores in the 90s and late 80s, early 90s. And we had that. We had rolls of film where it was just demo roll and you would put... It was really never meant to be processed. You didn't... There was no need to process these rolls of film, ever. Because all you were going to get is... Well, you're going to find out in just a second. So what I did... what I did was I put both rolls together in my loud lid UPB-1A processing tank. It's a Lomo processing tank made in the USSR, the former USSR. I made this little foam doily for the top, just a little extra protection from light. And what this little thing does here is it has the ability to hold up to 2 50-foot rolls of film. And that's what I did. I processed both of these together at the same time. So 100 feet of film, but it has to be cut. It can't be 100 continuous. If you want to find out, by the way, how to process film and extract from one of these cartridges in a Lomo UPB-1A, I got just the video for you. And I'll put the link to it right up there. Anyway, so I processed this for, close that so wait, for 7 minutes in HC 110B at around 67.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Wash the film in plain water. I then fixed it for 7 minutes at about 68 degrees Fahrenheit with Kodak Fixer. Wash it, hang it to dry, scanned it on my Movie Stuff Retro Scan Universal Mark I unit in 2K. That's not a K, that's a 4. In 2K. And I have it here for you today. Now I'm going to show you a very quick montage. I know most of you are going to forward through it, and that's okay. I don't know why I just hit the microphone. And that's okay, but if you haven't seen my process for developing this film with Remjet on it, I'm going to show it to you really quick. It's only 60 seconds long, and I'll be right back. Now I have changed up my workflow a little bit. It's kind of ever evolving. So that's very similar to what I do and how I do it now. I do use PhotoFlow now. I don't use dish soap. But everything's basically the same. That was one roll. I did 2 rolls this time, so I just add one more roll. You got to remove the Remjet and wind it up and hang it up. So what did we get? Now I will say I did 2 rolls. This first roll, and oddly enough, they're from the same batch. And when you see them, they're very similar. It looks like they're from the same area. But they are, like this particular roll here, let me look. This is the first roll you're going to see right here. Now it has an edge code of an X, a triangle, and an X. And according to Kodak's website, that means this roll was manufactured in 1983. Now, this roll right here that you'll see second has an edge code of an X, a plus, and a triangle, which means this roll was manufactured in 1989. So I'm going to presume that they were, shot somewhere around there, 83 and 89, 6 years apart. Yet you'll see in a second that there's a lot of similarities. Now, one last thing I'll say before I show you. The first roll that you're going to see actually has, oddly enough, like it's a family thing, like an outing. So I'm not real sure exactly how it became a store demo, but it did. It's a store demo. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you see the film. I'll put a little divider of some sort in there to show you when I switch from one film to the other. Here they are. Yeah, I want to smack that lady on the horse also. I don't know, somebody needs to give her some horse riding lessons. That's not the way you treat animals. Anyway, I'm going to get off my high horse on that. So you see now what a store demo is. Especially on the second film, you see a lot of, you turn the camera on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. There's a lot of fluorescent light fixtures, maybe looking out the front door. A lot of it was out of focus because people would just pick up the camera. They didn't know what they were doing. You know, you'd pick up a camera and you look through the viewfinder and you pull the trigger for a second. Out of focus, not exposed 100% right. But that's what they did. That's what you did. Like I say, I don't think these rolls were ever really intended to be processed. And sometimes that's what we get. Now, the second half of each roll is just my junk filming in the backyard. You guys have seen plenty of that. You've seen my trees and flowers in the backyard. I didn't see any, really no need to show you that again. So that's it. That's what we got for found film number 37. And I'm only keeping that at one found film, even though we used 2 cartridges, because combined it's 1 cartridge. I hope you enjoyed this goofy little venture down memory lane. Memory lane? Little Americana. I don't know what store that is, by the way. I wish it was a little more in focus because they were filming, it looked like across the street. And maybe it's me, but it did seem like both carts probably, maybe were in the same area, maybe the same store, kind of. I mean, judging by the light fixtures, you know, no 2 fluorescent light fixtures are the same. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and my goofiness, do me a solid right there. Tap that like button for me. Do it right on the way out. It's free. It's quick. It takes less than a second. If you enjoyed it also, or you feel like I've earned your subscription, maybe you could, you know, subscribe for me. It would mean a lot to me. I honestly can't believe I have this many subscribers that care enough to watch and listen to my rambling. And until the very next time that I see all of your beautiful faces, which won't be long. Well, it will be because I don't get to see you. I will see all of you on the very next go-around.